Hello, BookTube. Well, it's day 3 of BookTube-a-Thon, the BookTube-wide event created by Ariel Bissett, in which, for a week, we all try to come together and get along. An insane, impossible task. And in order to help organize the week, although it's not mandatory, of course, at all, Ariel Bissett has come up with 7 challenges, one for each day. I had abysmal luck with the first challenge, and I had abysmal luck with the second challenge. But the third challenge is the odds were a little bit more in my favor. The challenge for the third day, is to read a book in one day. And I do that as a matter of course. I read a book in the morning, and then I take a break, take care of my sweet old dog, do some stuff, whatever email stuff is accumulated overnight. I have a lot of emails from people in other time zones. And then I read another book. And then I take a break, usually every day. Take a break and do some errands and out in the world real stuff, fix food, see to whatever needs to be seen to, laundry, cleaning, that sort of thing. Little things here and there. It never takes very long. And then I devote a chunk of time to writing, a chunk of whatever writing needs to be done, and then I read another book. This is usually, sometimes not, and a lot of times these are rereads, and sometimes that time is blurred together when errands go long, and sometimes that time is blurred together when a book goes long, or just feels like it needs more attention. They're not hard and fast, but generally speaking, by the time I hit midnight every night, which is when I turn into a pumpkin and do nothing but read, I already have at least a couple of books under my belt for that day, usually. So when a challenge comes to, read a book in a day, that I can do. And I have. As of when I'm making this video, I have, it's late in the afternoon, it's evening, and I have read 2 books. And I've broken the streak of only crap to report for these videos. The first book that I read early this morning was crap, and I was worried that this was just going to be a cursed booktube for me. It was a new biography of Charles I, and I thought, okay, Restoration history, that's right up my alley. Stuart history, and it was awful. It was bad. I gave it a good try, and I will give it another try when I get the finished copy, just in case I caught it on a bad mood or wasn't making allowances for this, that, or the other thing. But an author who strains in the first 5 or 6 or 7 chapters to be my buddy, mentions Brexit, uses the word bromance, has lost the thread of his discipline. And I read to the end, because biographies of Charles I are kind of rare, but I won't read kindly, and I didn't. The most of it seemed just facile in the extreme. I will give it another try, but the day's first reading experience was a failure. But then the day's second reading experience, which I did in one sitting, did it easily, was wonderful. And the reason that I sound surprised by that is because of what the book was. It was this, Arithmetic by Paul Lockhart. It is a book about arithmetic. I have read plenty of books like that. It's a tiny little thing. That's why it took so short a time. I've read plenty of books like that tell me math is an adventure, that it's a universal language, that it's beautiful, that it's wonderful, oh my God, that sort of thing. And they always fail to deliver on that promise. They say that, and then they almost immediately hit you with 3-dimensional graphs that they've imported from paper that was made on the planet Vulcan, and you're left outside the gates going, oh, what's going on in there? This author strikes a very good note right from the beginning, though. Before he's even started his book, just in a Dear Reader address, not even a preface, he says, being good at math doesn't make you any particularly smart or mathematically inclined or anything like that. Similarly, being unskilled at arithmetic does not mean that you are stupid or that you do not have a mathematical mind. Arithmetic is just like any other craft. You can get good at it if you want to, but it's no big deal either way. My hope is that by reading this book you will be inspired to try it out for yourself and to experience firsthand the simple pleasure and satisfaction that comes with numerical fluency. Have fun. I read that as an address to the reader, and I thought, well, okay, that's wonderful, but that's why this book will do well, but it's not going to work for me. You're never going to be able to get to sustain that for me, but the author does. He goes through the natural prejudice that humans have for base 10 mathematics, goes through the history of that, goes through all sorts of different other mathematical systems, and he's unfailingly interesting the whole time. I'm blown away by it. I've actually read a book on arithmetic that I actually really liked. There's a part when we're edging towards the modern day. We're edging away from ancient systems and towards the modern one, where the author writes, I want to make sure that we remain awake to the distinction between numbers in and of itself, that is, as a quantity in the abstract, as opposed to the culturally determined choice of representation. Now that we've arrived at the point in our brief pseudo-history of arithmetic where things are starting to feel a bit more familiar, I think it's especially vital to be conscious and clear-headed. The problem with familiarity is not so much that it breeds contempt, but that it breeds loss of perspective. That's really good. And that's all throughout the book. So I succeeded in completing BookTube-a-Thon Day 3 challenge. And I also have a book to recommend. Arithmetic by Paul Larkin. It's one heck of a reading experience. No matter what you think your relationship with math is, it couldn't be any more antagonistic than mine. And I loved it. So there you go. A nice, quick BookTube-a-Thon video to keep the string going. We'll see if tomorrow's any better. Thank you, BookTube.